Hello everybody, as you know, I cherish a lot the mentorship and the importance of mentorship in business and personal life. That's why I try to bring people from whom we can learn, from experiences from which we can take away good advices for our personal and business lives. Today I have Jim Bagnola with me. Thank you, Jim, for accepting the invitation. For those who you are not familiar with Jim's work, he's a leadership expert, mostly known in the United States, but he travels a lot to Romania already in the last few years. He does a lot of work with very big companies like NATO and Continental Airlines and the US Department of Defense, and big and important companies. So Jim, I would like to ask you, you work with huge organizations. What would be your advice for a small company? Let's say small company from 2 until 10 employees in terms of leadership, because mostly they are focused on profit, on sales, on bringing money in the company, and they forget a little bit about leadership. What would be your advice about leadership for a small company?
It's important to, I think, understand that everybody has a responsibility to lead, especially in the small company. Because if the majority of your people are leaders, then you're a leading company in your arena. If you are the only leader, then you don't have the same power. My definition of leadership is a leader plus followers equals a power called leadership. And that power can also be called partnership. So in a small company, I've got to treat people as partners. They have to be my partner, and I have to share in what it is that this company is going to bring as far as profits, so that they feel like I'm a partner.
Do you think it's important to have a also financial gain as an employee in a company?
Absolutely.
From the profit?
Absolutely.
So you have to include your employees in this area also?
Only if you want to get real big. You know, and you want them to buy in. 2 things: you want to invest in them and share in the investment, and then you let them weigh in. The rule is, if they don't weigh in, they're not going to buy in. And if they're not buying in, how are we going to move with only 10 people? You know, we're the essence of a company that could turn into 1,000. But we're the essence, and we all have to take the lead at the appropriate time. So I call it the leader-follower dynamic, that sometimes I follow appropriately, and sometimes I lead appropriately. And I have to have my ego under control, especially if I'm the founder, that, you know what, you're better than I am in this. So we just talked about you and how you organize these events with 800 people. I would let you do it. I'm not an expert in organizing. I'd rather speak at the event. But if you're an expert at that, I'm following you. And in the company, everybody's an expert at something. And even the founder should follow that person. Okay, I take your advice, you weigh in, I take it in, and I'm going to lean towards what you tell me, because that's why I hired you.
What do you think it's easier to hire a good expert or to train take it from zero and train it inside the company?
Most successful companies hire for attitude and train for skill. Like Marriott, some Southwest Airlines is a very successful airline in the United States. That's the rule. We hire for attitude, we train for skill. Now, if I'm a hospital, I want you to be a good doctor before you get there. But what I'm looking for is a personality that can get along with people and will make the patient, in this case, the center of everything we do. I also think humility is a good thing. If people's ego is too big, it just doesn't have any room for anybody else. If your ego is too big. So I want you to be a team player. I want you to have a warm personality. And if I can train you for this technical part of our business, that's more important. Your personality is more important than this training. For a pilot, I want you to be trained when you get here, but I'm going to look at your personality, right?
Great. Recently, I saw a short movie about the importance of mentors in a business, and there was Eric Schmidt, a great CEO, who told that everybody needs a coach. There is a Microsoft owner, Bill Gates, who said everybody needs a coach, even if you are an athlete or a business owner or whatever. It's important to have a coach. Do you think this is important, and why do you think it's important to have, even in a small company, to have mentors and coaches?
I agree with you, and I agree with them. My first mentor passed away 2 years ago at 90, and he mentored me until he passed away. I was with him up till 2 days before he passed away. And for me, mentors can cut your learning time in half. By, giving you advice and direction that you would have to go through the experience of it and maybe suffer through the experience of it, or they can say, just tell you, if you go in this direction, let me tell you some of the consequences. Let me tell you some of the unforeseen consequences of this type of action. Let me tell you from my experience what's happened. I know last week I gave a training for FM logistic, and one of the guys said, one thing I don't like is people telling me they have more experience than I do, and that they hold that over me. And I said, well, it's not holding it over you, it's offering it to you. Mm-hmm. So here's some experience I would like to offer you, and maybe it'll cut your journey, to reach success a little shorter. So for me, mentors, I've had mentors all the time, and I'm an athlete, so I know that somebody has to be watching me. I can't see myself.
That's a good point. How should we find a good mentor for us? Where should we look for it? Because there is no list on Google. If you Google a good mentor for business, you won't find a list. So
I'm the chairperson for the foundation called Leaders Romania. I have been on the board for 16 years, and maybe 5 years ago I became the chairman. So I have to change my name to Bagnolescu now. One of the people there said that a person came to give a lecture for leaders, and he appreciated the man so much that he went up to him and said, I want to work for you, and here's what I can offer you. And I don't want to work for a company, I want to work for a man who I appreciate, a mentor. I need a mentor. And in 5 minutes he was hired and working for that company. He's still working. And I told the story. The guy just Stefan picked me up at the office and took me to the National Theater in Bucharest for the session. And he told me the story. I didn't know his boss was in the audience. And he's still, years later, working for him. Now, he interviews potential candidates that will go to the Leaders Academy, and this man, his boss, will pay. So I think just being alert, having my attention or my intention on having one, and then having my attention out like he did, I want to work for this guy. And then being bold enough to say, because people have asked me, can you mentor me? Can you coach me? And I say, well, I have limited time, and I'm a professional coach and get paid for that, but I do donate some time. So why should I mentor you? And you better have some good reasons why I can help you.
So we should prepare a pitch for a mentor, even for a mentor.
Absolutely. This is what I need, this is what I think you have, and this is how I think I can make it a win-win situation for you.
Yeah. I had a similar experience a few years ago. I had the seminar, and in the end, a young guy came to me and he told me, Lorand, you want to be the best speaker in Europe? I can help you. I'm a coach in public speaking, and I can take you there in less time than you can go alone. And I hired him, and he worked with me for 3 years. So,
perfect.
But he was prepared with the perfect pitch, with the perfect need. He knew my need, and yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were smart.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, what makes a good manager and what makes a good leader? Or what is the difference between manager and leader, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's two sides of the same coin. We have to manage things, schedules, budgets, but we have to lead people. So if you happen to be a manager, you need to transform yourself into a leader, which means I have to get people to follow me. If I have a lot of what I call management malpractice, then I don't get followers, and I continue to be a manager, in fact, a bad manager, and I have subordinates. I am more position to position with these people, whereas a leader is person to person, and you can feel it when you see their direct reports come in. How's that interaction feel? Is it position to position? So, I'm closer to God than you are because I am a manager. Or do I feel this person-to-person caring? So to me, I'm going to ask the potential followers, the direct reports, is she competent? Is she caring? Do you trust her? If I get 3 yeses, I've got a follower. If she has the majority of people following, she's a leader. If she doesn't, then we're going to have to take a look at how can you get these people to follow you? How can you influence people to follow you? And I think this is the difference. Managers who use a lot of malpractice, so for instance, one malpractice is I favor somebody over another person. So you're allowed to come late, but you people have to come on time. Malpractice. I de-energize all of these people, and I energize one person. To me, leading is management of energy. So I need to manage my own energy. So if I come to you, Lauren, I'm a little tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep. I'm not really taking care of myself. I'm not really inspiring you too much. But if I'm taking care of me, and I'm learning, and I'm really embed myself in transforming myself, you'll feel it, and you'll follow me, if I have good ideas. So you're following the person and the ideas of the person.
Do you think every manager should be a leader?
Yes. Yes.
The other way, every leader should also know how to manage stuff?
Not necessarily.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because here's the way I think, and I know Haji is getting better as a coach. Mm-hmm. Not all good players make good coaches. Mm-hmm. Not all good employees make good managers. But every employee has to be a good leader, mm-hmm. in my opinion. And there are lots of opinions on that. But I feel not all leaders make good managers. So for instance, Gandhi, he never had an elected position. He was an awful manager, but he had followers everywhere. And and brought India to its freedom. But never was a manager. Only a leader, he had followers. And that's the essence of leading. Do you have followership? If you're followed, you're leading. If nobody's following, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that managers tend to avoid feedback because of their position, and leaders are more open to feedback, but managers are like, because I'm the manager, I don't have to get feedback?
Absolutely right. I agree totally with what's contained in your question. Managers who use a lot of malpractice are self-deluded, mm-hmm. because they don't get feedback. And what kind of feedback? Anonymous feedback, especially in Romania. People are not going to tell you. to your face. They're worried about their job. They tell their wife about you. They don't tell you. They tell the coworkers about
we
you.
should speak with the wife and the husband of the employee.
They know everything. They know it all. But you're right. I call it the worst mistakes made by a manager. First is self-sabotage. I treat people in a way that lowers their energy and lowers their productivity, and I'm judged by how they're doing. Self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Second, self-delusion. Since I don't get any feedback, and I'm not a psychic, I delude myself into thinking everything is fine. And I'm going in the right direction, and I don't even ask. I'm deluded. It's never right. It's always you have to course correct. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. And thirdly, self-deception. I see problems in my employees, but they're my employees' problems. I don't understand that I am part of the problem. I deceive myself in thinking it's their problem. It's not my problem. I mean, after all, I'm a manager. I was made in the glory of God. And leaders are opening up to feedback. Not easy, but understand that feedback is the breakfast of champions.
That's a good one.
That
You could say it again.
yeah, feedback is the breakfast of champions, and it's not easy. It's tough. It's tough to take, but it should be balanced. So appreciate. What do you appreciate? What should I improve? And normally the biggest problem we have with feedback, I don't know about you, but my principal in grade school would call me in to have feedback. Give me feedback? Was never positive. So when somebody says, I have some feedback for you, oh, great, you know, because they don't balance it. They don't give enough appreciate feedback. So we have to have balanced feedback. And then people say, don't take this personally, Lorand, but this is really an ugly thing right here. Don't take it personally. What they don't understand is that what that means. Don't take it personally. They say it in Romanian too, right? You know, it's in a Romanian, yeah, it's in a Romanian expression too. That if I'm receiving feedback, there are two things. One is me, the person, made by the Creator, perfect. DNA is perfect. Then there's my behavior, made by me, never perfect. What the feedback is about my behavior. And if it's directed towards me, I direct it towards behavior. What behavior do you want me to change? Because my attitude might change if my behavior changed. But let's talk about behavior. It's not the person. It's not about you. You're fine, you're perfect. God made you perfect the way you are. Your preferences, sort of like Myers-Briggs. You know, you get your 4 letters and you got an E instead of an I. You're an extrovert, I'm going to try to make you an introvert because, you know, you talk too much. It will never happen because that's you. It's in your DNA. It's your preference, so that's okay. Let's work with maybe not interrupting people, the behavior of an extrovert like me and you. Okay. Are you an extrovert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last question, if you can give just one advice about leadership to Romanian managers and leaders and business owners, what would it be? Just one. The most important advice. Besides everything that you already said.
Make sure that you get anonymous feedback, that you have a system on a regular basis where your direct reports can give you honest feedback. You read that feedback out to everybody once per month, and then you tell people, thank you for the appreciate feedback. I will build on that. I will continue that. Here are the things I can change right away. I need more information on these things because I'm not sure. Give me some examples, please. And here are the things I can't change, and here's why. I probably never told you why I can't change that. If you could do that on a regular basis, and then turn it around and give them feedback once a month, this is communication. Most organizations, what's your biggest issue? We have communication problems. That's the biggest communication problem right there. And document it.
So you receive anonymous feedback, then you,
as a manager,
as a manager, you go back to the team and you say, okay, thank you for this positive, thank you, I can change this and I need help, thank you, give me some examples about this, and this I can change. And then
here's why.
Again, you receive again anonymous feedback?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with examples or whatever. And you fix a system that you can be anonymous. So it's a box, have them type it out. Type out the examples. What will happen after 1 year? People will start putting their name on it. I get these from managers all the time. See? You know, like one guy sent me 17 pieces of feedback. 16 of the people wrote their name on it. I wonder who that other person, who's that guy? You know, and so that what that told him is, they trust me now, that I'm not going to retaliate because of the feedback you're giving me. It's great. I cannot read minds. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're telling your coworkers about the way I am, and I cannot change unless you're honest with me. Here, people say things in a meeting, and they say something different outside the meeting.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
And so they could do one thing, this is key. When I teach leadership, if I leave out feedback, I'm being dishonest. People don't like it, they don't even like the word feedback. But if you're not giving it and receiving it monthly and documenting, because at the end of the year, you have to fill out 5, 6 performance appraisals on a weekend, but you can't even tell me what you did this year. So how are you going to tell me what 5 or 6 people did for a whole year? Even a half a year. Some companies, let's do it every 6 months. That'll be better. Still too long. But if you have documentation, simple, clear documentation, it's easy.
Jim, thank you very much. It was a very good interview. Thank you for your
My pleasure and good questions.
Hope to see you again in Romania with other speaking engagements, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.